We are back with another podcast coming at you live through Facebook and YouTube, and I think also where are we at?
TikTok.
Our Instagram?
Not yet. It's
trying to do on Instagram, TikTok, and all those places, guys. It's No Sugar No Cream podcast, and we're live everywhere, all over the world, wherever there's internet. Not Mars yet. Hopefully someday. Elon, you can do it. Yeah, guys. It is Tuesday. It is. It's before 5 o'clock, almost. Yeah,
Woo!
5 minutes. 5 minutes before.
Rock and roll.
Yes, sirree. Speaking of rock and roll, we watched the Grammys
We sure did.
Sunday night, and watched it in its entirety. What a spectacle!
Well, the televised part, yeah.
Yeah. And it was pretty enjoyable. Pretty good for the most part. No complaints. There was some really stacked, really good. I mean, definitely people that were nominated were deserved to be nominated. And the rap album won? Usually rap doesn't usually
Song
win.
of the Year and
Song
Record of the Year.
Song. Song.
Kendrick Lamar won Song of the Year and
the album, right?
Record of the Year.
Record?
No, he didn't win album. That was
So what's the difference between an album
Beyonce.
record and song?
Record and song, yeah. The song is for the songwriting, the record is for the recording. And they often go together.
Oh, okay.
If you win one, you win them both. Not always, but often, if you win one, you win them both. They're kind of a duet. The big four in the Grammys are Best New Artist, the general categories. Well, there are other general categories. There's Producer of the Year. I think there are 6 general categories. Producer of the Year, another something of the year, then Best New Artist, which you can only qualify if you're new. And if you've already been nominated for a Grammy, you cannot be nominated for Best New Artist. And then there are the 3 big ones for artists. Album of the Year is the granddaddy of them all. And Beyonce won for that. And then Song of the Year, which is for a single, but it's for the song. And then Record of the Year, which is for a single, one song, but it's for the recording. And often these days, the artist is involved with the writing, the songwriting. But not always. Mm-hmm. And there's many other awards that they give that they don't televise. I think they only gave out 9. I think I read an article. And then a lot of tributes. They tribute to Quincy Jones, giant of a producer, and he was a great trumpet player in his youth. He worked with Frank Sinatra when he was young, and worked with so many. Thriller, Michael Jackson Thriller. He was the guy behind that, the producer. And they did spend a lot of time honoring him as they should. And yeah, pretty amazing. And the Best New Artists, I was introduced to some new artists that I wasn't familiar with, especially I've been listening nonstop, and now I just lost his name. Who was the guy? He's only 32, but I thought he was like 50. I
played some of his songs afterwards.
Yeah, Shaved Head. Now I can't think of his name. I was just listening.
Last name Swims.
Yeah, Teddy Swims, or come on,
Freddie
Swims.
Teddy Swims, I believe, right?
Yeah, that's not his real name. That's the artist's name.
Right.
Incredible voice.
Incredible voice.
Since I've been listening to him nonstop. I've listened to his entire catalog since the Grammys. He's got an amazing voice. Teddy Swims. He did not win Best New Artist.
He looks like Post Malone's cousin.
Yeah, head tattoos, face tattoos, I guess.
His definitely look better than Post Malone's.
Yeah,
Post Malone's look like a kindergartner drew those up and tattooed. Like he found the cheapest. Post Malone found the cheapest. The guy that did the barbed wire had to have been drunk or high when he drew that barbed wire. It is the worst looking barbed wire across his forehead. But of course, is there a good looking barbed wire that you can tattoo that you can put across your head? That is the question. I was like, it's so funny when someone's so talented and like, I'm just going to ignore the horrible tattoos on your face. Here, I'm just going to listen to you as I stare at the ground. And it's so funny because like, in no way, we think of course, everybody has tattoos nowadays, but you still like,
not everybody.
Not everybody.
Do you have any tattoos?
That's true.
Do you have a tattoo?
I apologize. Not everyone.
Do
I
you
don't-
have a tattoo?
No, I
Seth?
don't. No, no,
Do
no.
I have a tattoo?
No, you don't. Okay.
So we are two
Okay.
tattoo-less dudes.
I'm saying that away.
The
like
tattoo.
it's
That's going to
very
be the
common.
new name for our podcast. The tattoo-less dudes.
I'm sorry.
We're a
No
minority.
sugar-
we
no
we are
sugar, no
unicorns. In this country today, we are unicorns, Seth. Those guys don't have any tattoos. Oh, I pity them.
Those poor things. They were abused as children. That's why they don't have
Bless their
tattoos.
hearts.
Bless their heart. But anyways, yeah, like especially still face tattoos. You associate that with being a tough guy. Still a lot of gang members do face tattoos and stuff, and neck tattoos, and you get the teardrop and such. But it does not fit his personality one bit, because he is just the happiest.
Post Malone?
Post Malone is very well known as one of the sweetest guys. Like what you see him talking to people is who he is. That is him in a nutshell.
Okay, well, let's talk about. We can get back to the Grammys later, but I would like to talk about.
We're changing subjects.
Well, we're segueing.
Segue. Never rode one.
So you get
Not
from place to
familiar
place.
with
So segue.
Is that
from
how
one
you
place
get? Is that talking about generalization? No tattoo here. No segue
So
here.
let's talk about Post Malone.
Posty.
And you were such a fan of his.
Oh,
We
yeah.
went to Bonnaroo Festival.
We went to Banaroo, yeah.
And
That's
he had
a
just
sore
broke out
subject.
his first album. You.
It was like
worked-
second or something, wasn't it? I think.
Maybe it was second, but
Yeah.
he was just
was
blowing
killing
up.
it,
He was on
yeah.
the ascendancy. And you went up there like 2 hours early. It was you and your brother and me. And we kind of were in the back.
No, we're chilling in the back.
And you
and
wanted to chill in the back, and you said, "I want to go up front." And you go up front, and you left like 2 hours before we did to push your way up to the front.
You think it was 2 hours that I was
I
up
mean,
there?
it was a long time. You were up
Maybe
there
a little bit long,
time
but yeah,
before. At least an hour.
There was
before.
an area off to the side where you could wait, where they would let you go up to the stage. So I mean, and that area was gigantic. That was the biggest stage, and I was pumped to see Post Malone.
Okay, so
And I ended up
what
not
happened?
being
What happened?
thrilled at all. It sucked. It sucked.
And you
majorly.
left, even waiting an hour or
Yeah,
hour
I
and a
came
half.
back to just chill with you guys.
And no,
I
you
was
went to
just-
see that funny rapper guy.
I went somewhere else.
Yeah, you went to the second stage to see the guy who.
No, I definitely still finished the show.
Oh, you did.
But yeah, because
Okay.
that was at a different time. But yeah,
was it? Okay.
That was later that night. Yeah, because you guys left, and I was like, "Oh, you guys missed a good show." The guys from SNL, you guys had left early that night, and they killed it. It was hilarious. They did a show. I forget what their names are,
I do
but he had
not remember.
There, two of them were writers, and then one was a major part of SNL that went on to do like not Reno, but what is it? The funny cop show. I forget the name of it.
9/11?
Reno 9/11. No, that sounds like some like.
No, back on track. But you were so disappointed
Yes, I was
in the
very
Post Malone
disappointed.
show, and hopefully his live game has grown. But
Yeah,
my interpretation of it is he played his songs, and there weren't even okay. You can make your songs and take the vocals out and sing to like a karaoke track. You can do that. Some artists do that.
There was no
He didn't
interaction
even
with
do
the
that.
crowd.
He just played the songs without taking the vocals out and kind of ad-libbed over the top.
he seemed kind of nervous, but like he's done better in the past. But he's a lot known a lot differently now, though.
And if the memory serves, he was the only one on stage. It was a huge stage. There was nobody else on stage, and he was just like
him.
saying, "F yeah, man, F yeah, yeah," just
love you guys. You're great.
After
He
every
just said
song.
the same
and didn't
sentence
sing.
between
yes,
each-
he did.
each song.
And he's
No interaction.
He kind of sang ad libs. It's like playing the song on your radio and you sing along to it. He didn't even take the
Then-
vocals out.
On a much higher note, Childish Gambino was the last night?
Oh man, he
Gosh, he
was off
freaking
the hook.
killed it,
He
man.
was amazing. He was amazing.
Oh my, his stage presence, his
he's
showmanship.
Yeah.
He had a whole cast up there with him, like just killing it, man. He was amazing.
So anyway, sometimes they say, I hope Post Malone has improved his live game. I mean, they do say that back in the day, in order for an artist to prove themselves, they pretty much had to go through the minor leagues. Like let's do a baseball analogy. If you're gonna join the majors, traditionally,
I prefer football. I'm more of a football guy.
Well, they don't really have minor leagues in football. Baseball works. They have like minor leagues.
XFL.
They have D, C, B. I know they have A, even AAA. They have different classes of the minor league teams, and you climb the ladder, and then you get to a AAA level, and then maybe you get called up to the big
big leagues.
So you gotta grind it out, and music traditionally was that way. You started playing small clubs, and you slowly build up to bigger clubs, and you got a lot of experience and a lot of practice at doing live shows. And today it's different. You do a video and it blows up on TikTok, and all of a sudden you're a monster.
Somebody that has a lot of followers.
And you have no experience giving a live show. And I read an article on Billboard about this, a couple of articles actually, and they're saying doesn't give people a chance to develop, and that's obvious to me what happened to Post Malone. He went from probably never really playing any shows anywhere at all to suddenly commanding and headlining Banaroo, which is one of the biggest festivals in the country, because of his great success with his album, and he didn't have any experience with a good live show. And it showed. It was horrendous. It was absolutely
Who
horrible.
knows? He could have just been high that night too, because like I've seen plenty of other shows or like on TV and stuff where he does a great job. But
really?
I still like him. He does amazing
so
music.
he didn't. So you're still a big fan.
But I mean, he's grown up a lot since then. Well, that was like five years ago.
Possibly, yeah. Time flies.
Time flies.
6 years, maybe. I don't know.
Time flies.
Well, how about you used to be a fan of Ariana Grande?
No, my girlfriend was.
You were not.
No, I mean I enjoed it too, but I was
you're
never
less
a big,
of a fan. Your fandom has dropped almost nothing.
I was impressed with her live music, but she's turned into. I mean, hide your man, she'll steal it. Hide your donut, she'll lick it. You know about that video?
No,
she stuck her tongue on a donut in the display.
Right, I remember that. Yeah. She's like a real diva, but she has a reputation of being a real diva.
She's her present boyfriend was married and had a kid, brand new kid. She's just like, I want you. I want you. You're mine now. And when you're a nobody and you look like freaking SpongeBob. Wait, I think he played SpongeBob. He looked pretty much like SpongeBob too. But oh my gosh, he's like a redheaded, nerdy looking guy. Like. You know the crazy part is, you know what everybody says? I mean, because he's not a good-looking guy. He looks exactly like her brother.
Oh my god,
it's really creepy.
That is creepy. That's very. I don't want to.
People put him side by side.
I don't want to know. That. I do not want to know that.
Well, she probably didn't realize. I mean, so you're attracted a lot to people that you look like. You see a lot of couples where they look similar. Like, I mean, I see couples all the time. Like, are they brother and sister? Like, because you're kind of attracted to somebody who looks like you, and you make a good-looking couple too. I mean, hey, I'm attractive, and you're attractive, and we happen to look a little bit like whatever. It is kind of funny to see that a lot of times.
Okay, interesting. I know they say that couples that have been together for 40 years look like each other, but I always thought that was because they went through the same things in life. They went through the same stresses and joys, and that affected their life. But I never really thought about it. They probably looked like each other when they got married. That's interesting, and that's very, very possible. Anyway, back to the Grammys, if we could we move it, segue back to the Grammys again?
I shall allow it.
Thank you for allowing it. I appreciate it. I'm relieved that you're allowing it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
temporarily.
So there were other people who were nominated for. What are you doing a side smile at the camera at my expense? At my expense.
We can change the subject temporarily.
So there were other Best New Artists, some that I had never heard of, but there was Sabrina Carpenter. She put on a show. She put on a routine. The props, they must have spent millions of dollars on the props. but it was hilarious.
Oh my gosh, she did a whole routine where she's like,
she
she's walking down the stairs, but she's disappearing because there's another set of stairs in front of her, and then she has to crawl up on top of them. She's doing a whole spoof thing. It's like
it's just hilarious.
It was like, yeah, it was hilarious.
And the dancers kept running into her, and like one dancer had a boa that they threw, and it went around her face, and it was like, man, they're kind of screwing
so
up.
much
But
personality in her
then you
face.
realize that it's all intentional. You know, for a second you realize, oh, they're kind of screwing up, but no, this is all intentional, and you're just goofy and funny and talented. I kind of and
she puts on quite the show.
Chappelle Roan. I don't know how to pronounce her name. She
So
won
Chappelle
Best New
Roan,
Artist. Mm-hmm. I actually thought Shabuzi would win because Shabuzi
He just blew it up.
He
was on one of the top. He's number one for a long.
Well, he's had. In fact,
year,
I think he might have broke that record. So the most weeks at number one on the Hot 100. Now the Hot 100 is the Billboard chart that is all of the, like you got your genre charts, like the country chart and the blues chart, and the Americana chart and the pop chart and AC, adult contemporary, and a lot of different charts.
Too many charts.
The Hot 100.
Give me one more chart.
All the charts. And so if you're top of the Hot 100, you rule because you're at the top. And so the record for the most weeks at number one in the Hot 100 was broken and then held by I almost said Post Malone. Help me. What's his name? The guy that did the horse thing. Not Post Malone. What's his name? Now I can't. I'm drawn a blank.
Okay, my horse to the Old Town Road.
Old Town Road, yeah. Old Town Road.
Lil Nas X, yeah.
Lil Nas X, yes. He broke the record, 19 weeks at number one. Just blew. I mean, that was the biggest song for that year, and maybe for 2 years. Lil Nas X, Old Town Road.
Yeah, it was a fun song.
And made Miley Cyrus's dad brought him back to some relevance.
Did you hear the latest with him? Like,
oh my gosh,
he sounded so hoarse and everything.
It was horrible. He couldn't get his thing to work, and he was at Trump's inauguration.
His voice was so off.
It was horrible. He was pitchy. It was just nasty. He couldn't hear his guitar, so he just sang it without accompaniment, and he should not have done that.
I don't know. They were saying he was drunk or whatever, but it was like, but more than drunk, it just seemed like he just didn't have his voice at all. Like, I mean, it was horrible.
He sounded like RFK Jr. actually, a little bit.
Oh my goodness,
not quite as bad.
Yeah.
Anyway,
good old RFK.
Anyway, so that was 19 weeks at number one, and then Shabuzi came out with his song. Something about. It's a bar song. Something about drinking. What's it about?
Oh yeah, it's called Bar Song. It literally is called Bar Song.
Okay. I knew that, I guess. I knew that. I was just wondering if you knew that. And
Bar Song, parentheses, tipsy.
Tipsy, that's right.
Blow me out of the...
19 weeks at number
catchy,
one. It
very
tied
catchy.
Lil Nas X. Yeah. Tied him for the most weeks at number one. That's a big deal.
And then I looked up...
That's a big deal.
The most streamed on Spotify was Billie Eilish's song. And she had, 7 or so nominations?
And didn't win a thing.
Yeah, she didn't look so happy toward the end of the night because she didn't win anything.
She didn't win anything. Taylor didn't win anything either. Anyway, back to... So I thought Shabuzi would win because nobody else of the Best New Artist candidates had that kind of a record where they...
It would look so much different if it was regular people voting, Billie Eilish would have won
because regular people. What are you talking about?
Well, there's just a select 13,000
members of the Grammys.
Right. Yeah, that would look so much different than the audience. It's a completely different experience.
It's peers. It's peers. It's other artists.
Peers,
it's other artists.
But peers vote completely different than the regular audience. I mean, that's why. Like, you didn't have Billie Eilish, who had the song that had the most listens to. He probably has the biggest fan base.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, but commercial success is just like the blockbusters. Summer movie blockbusters don't win the Oscars. Just because it sells the most doesn't mean it's considered. I mean, the Oscars, just like the Grammys, they're hopefully trying to go for, the best art.
We're saying the same thing.
Okay.
You have a face like you're disagreeing with me, but we're saying the same thing.
Is this my disagree face?
You talking to me? You look like him sometimes.
I get that all the time.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, not all the time, but I'm running ads on Instagram and Facebook, and I get at least once a week. I get you look like De Niro, so I'll take it. I mean, the guy's a movie star.
Sure
who's
is.
going to turn that down?
Still a good-looking guy after all these years. But yeah,
So Shabuzi, I thought he would win, and then Sabrina Carpenter.
Yeah, he had several songs that were good. Everybody knows the main song, but he had a couple good big hits.
Sabrina Carpenter. Now, if you look at Instagram followers, Shabuzi only has like 1 million. Sabrina Carpenter is like 44 million. So as far as Instagram
you would think
followers,
his numbers would have went higher as much as he was.
You would thought
been out there.
Yeah, but of all, so I would.
I think it has a lot to do with the age range too.
I thought that one of those two would win Best New Artist, but instead it went to Chappelle Roan. Just surprised me.
Yeah, I didn't even know who she was. You
didn't know who she was?
I think her song was. I'm mostly like. I guess I kind of just hear whatever is popping, and then I'll look in the artist sometimes, but yeah. I just whatever I like. A lot of times I won't even know the name of the band, but I'll know the song just because it's played probably so much or whatever. But yeah, it's always exciting to hear a new band that you didn't know before. I mean, I just got into a new band just by how did I run across that? I guess from just watching clips and stuff. The guy with the deep voice, I can't even think.
Teddy Swims?
No. Well, Teddy Swims, yeah, he's great. But you just run across the guy that I'd introduced you to, the guy and the girl that do.
Yeah.
I can't even think of their name now. But I've been watching a lot of their videos and stuff. It's kind of fun. But he's about to do. He was a basketball. He's going to get to do the All-Star game, which is perfect fit because he was a really good basketball player. So he'll be coming in. A musician that's going to be turning it up.
Isn't it Alex something?
So it's what their first name. It's their first names.
His first name and her first name.
Yeah.
Or her first name and his first name.
But he
Alex?
has more.
I thought it was something.
But she's more of like a rocker, and he's a straight up like DJ.
DJ, yeah.
And the combination of them two, she's beautiful and he's a good looking guy, but the combination of them two just creates some unique music. And he'll do a filter where he does a deep voice, and it's so catchy, especially. And their song is so random, but it's so catchy. And then she starts playing the guitar.
You need to research who that is.
Yeah,
so you can tell
so
us.
I can say, yeah.
And then, album of the year. That's the big prize. That's the prize. They give that last. It's like best picture for the Oscars. The last one given is the big prize that everybody wants. Album of the year is what all the artists aspire to. And Taylor,
Sophie Tucker. Yeah, it's their two first names or whatever. Yeah.
So Sophie, and so Sophie is the girl who was the rocker, and Tucker is the DJ.
Mm-hmm. They just randomly met at at a thing where they're both playing that.
And Sophie, if you're looking for it, it's SOFI, right?
Yeah.
It's not PH.
Sophie, SOFI.
FI.
And then Tucker's TUKKER.
Okay.
So that's Tucker's.
If you're looking for that.
Yeah. And then Teddy Swims is really good.
Album of the Year is a big prize. And Taylor, before a couple of years ago, was it even last year? There were three artists who had won Album of the Year 3 times in the history of the Grammys. I think one was Stevie Wonder, one was Frank Sinatra, and the other was Taylor Swift. There might have been another one.
Fly me to the moon.
So nobody had won more than 3. And either it was last year or the year before. Oh, no, it's been a few years now. Taylor was up for Album of the Year, and she won her 4th Album of the Year. And everybody was like, wow, that's broke records,
Didn't she become a billionaire after her?
Oh, yeah. She's
touring
a
for
she's just at the top of everything, And then,
I mean, she toured for 2 years solid or whatever, basically?
Yeah, the highest rank,
I mean, that's what turned her into a billionaire, right? It was just
no, she's a masterful
I mean,
business
she's
person.
probably already worth a few million.
She's does merch. She's just a master at a businesswoman. Very intelligent, very smart. Anyway, and phenomenal songwriter and musician, artist. All of it. Anyway, so she won her 4th album of the year, and the other superpower woman in music is Beyonce. And Beyonce has won so many Grammys. As of now, she's won 32.
Nominated 99 times.
And she'd never won Album of the Year. And a lot of people were saying that, the Grammys are racist because obviously...
How could they be if she's already won so many?
Well, she never won the big prize. She never won the big prize.
And then if you cut the numbers, she wins 1 out of 3 every time.
She does,
Whereas Billie Eilish...
32 is basically 1/3
just got
of
nominated
99.
7 won none. It was
won none.
7 or 9 times she was nominated.
7, I thought.
It was 7,
But
yeah.
that's this time.
Yeah.
But come on, Billie is quite young. I don't think she's even 25 yet. She's going to win a
She
lot
was
of
a
Grammys.
baby. She was just with a
Just a little
baby.
baby,
Just
just a
with a
baby.
baby. Billie
Anyway,
Eilish.
so Taylor was up for her 5th, and I knew she is not going to win her 5th. She's already the only one at 4. Nobody's ever won 4. She's above Frank Sinatra. And just because of that, when they vote, they're not going to say, yeah, we're not going to give Taylor her 5th because there's other people, give some other people a chance to eat. And so Beyonce had won 32, well, now after she won others. So her total now is 32, which is more than Taylor has won. But she'd never won the big one.
See, how 13,000 people, how can you rig 13,000, get 13,000 people to vote a certain way? I don't get that.
Well,
That's
here's the thing.
13,000
Here's the
votes.
thing.
Do they
and he
all
talked about it.
Email each other
the
like,
weekend,
hey, let's vote this person.
Okay, here's the thing. Once you become a Grammy voter, you do it for life.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of people live a long time. So you got a lot of people who... I'm extrapolating. I'm not...
Do they get invited to certain parties and stuff? Or
No. I'm not saying that. I'm saying the taste of music. You're in your 70s. Are you going to vote for a rap? You don't know rap.
Oh, right.
You don't know that you're not going to vote for a newer style of music. I mean, let's face it. Rap's been around a long time, but it's still, if you're in your 80s, even 90s, and you have a vote, you're maybe not going for Album of the Year. You're for the general category. You're not going to vote for a type of music wasn't even invented when it was your heyday. I'm just guessing, and
then rap's changed so much. Even the newer
has. It sure has.
I mean,
so you had
Snoop Dogg
because
doesn't
once
like
you
the new
so
rap.
the new guy who came in and he's done a phenomenal job. They were saying that they underrepresented women and they underrepresented people of color. And he has come in and he gave a speech and he said, and The Weeknd had the song of the year a few years back. I think it was Blinding Lights, or was that the album? Blinding Lights was the album, or was that the song? I forget. But it was the song of the year. It was Billboard top of the charts for the entire year, and it wasn't even nominated for a thing that year. And he said, "I'm boycotting the Grammys." And legitimately so. He should have been nominated for something. Because he had the best album and the best...
Man, he's got an amazing voice.
He does. And so they have... And there was a lot of controversy about the Grammys. And so this new guy came in, and I wish I knew his name, but he level-headed to say, how do we fix this? And so he has made efforts to recognize more minorities, people of color, get more women involved, and he's got these movements, and they got
So they're
a lot
trying
more
to
voters,
get more diverse
voters, yeah. And he even talked about it.
And then educate the ones that are probably already have
perhaps
voted, I guess,
I'm not
maybe,
sure.
I
I'm
want
not
to see
sure
how you can do that.
But trying to make it more equitable. I mean, there are people who hate the Grammys, even from my buddy Jimmy. He's like, I don't believe in the Grammys because when metal came along, metal was the first category. Metal was a new category. I mean, they changed categories. Polka, you could win a Grammy for polka until about 2008.
Polka. That's hilarious.
I'm 15 years too late. Anyway, so things change, right? Polka is not a mainstream genre.
What?
And so metal came along.
I'm devastated.
And any metal fan will know this, what I'm going to say. Will know it 100%. And they gave the first Grammy for metal, and everybody was expectant and thought Metallica should get it because Metallica is probably the OG metal band. And they gave it to The flute playing band.
Somebody that's not even really a metal band.
Not really metal band.
Right, of course. Being a new genre, all these old people don't even probably understand what metal is.
Well, that would have been not the general category, but that would have been, just the. I mean, I don't know how you pick the metal people, but it was a new category, and that for some people, they said the Grammys suck because they didn't give it to a real metal person, and people said
Somebody
to
with
the
a
Grammys.
flute one.
Yeah, man, come on, Tim.
When I think of metal, I think of the flute.
Well, okay. Can you Google flute playing progressive rock band? Jethro Tull. There it is, Jethro Tull. Eventually, the memory
really quick
kicks in.
Googling. Do you have your own built-in Google, Tim?
I do. Jethro
Tim,
Tull. Have you ever heard of Jethro Tull?
No, I haven't.
English band from the 60s, maybe 70s. And that was probably toward the end of their career. There is no guy named Jethro Tull. Do you know who that was named after?
I was born in the 60s, so I can't believe I don't remember that.
Jethro Tull was named after an agronomist, an English agronomist from the 18th century, I think.
Just thinking back when we landed on the moon, it was amazing. I was just watching TV. I was sitting there. It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. I heard the words you said. I heard them.
You were not born in the 60s. You are lying. You lie. Yeah. You lie.
I was just sitting on the...
You lie.
On a shaggy carpet.
No.
With my bell bottoms. Like we were ahead of the 70s a little bit. We got them in the late 60s. Just watching them step on the moon. I'm like, is that real? It's got to be real.
So yeah, Jethro Tull was a progressive rock. I mean, they're definitely not metal, but they had a flute in the band. I mean, the main guy, Ian McGregor, no, not Ian McGregor, that's the actor. His first name was Ian. He was a British guy. He played the flute, and that was a rock band. And they're definitely not metal, but they got the first metal Grammy. And people who were fans of metal, as my buddy Jimmy is and was, that he said that Grammys suck. So they're not perfect by any means. I mean, but it's the highest award for an artist, and he's trying to make it better. And I wish I knew the name of the top guy. He gave a great speech. Do you remember he came out and he talked about those things? And then he said, "I thought I would never be able to say this, but now I'd like to introduce back to this stage, The Weeknd." And The Weeknd came back and did a performance. And he said he was boycotting and never going to be part of the Grammys ever again. So they brought him back into the fold.
It was the weekend. It was Sunday. That's still part of the weekend.
That's why he was there.
Yeah,
if they're having it in the middle of the week, he couldn't have made it.
Like, it's Monday. I can't be there. I'm the weekend. Can't you be the weekend and Monday? I'm still thinking about the moon landing. Oh, what a memory. What a memory. Do you ever hear about the talks of, when they were talking about, should we fake this moon landing thing? Did you hear about that? They're having a discussion and, talking to the director and the actors. Yeah, no. Listen. They were going over it, what's the best way to do this? And, they came back to NASA and like, you know what, after scouting it out and everything, we think the best idea, the best thing to do would be to film it on location. And that's why we went to the moon. It's just easier to do it on location. They just didn't have the green screen and such back then, Gosh darn it, let's go to the moon. We got some filming to do.
All right. What other subjects would you like to discuss, nephew?
Well, that's not. We don't.
Do you want to talk about that? Okay. What do you want to talk about?
No, we don't just. What subjects do you discuss, Tim? We don't think like that. It's all there. We don't have to go to a next subject. It just flows naturally. Okay. You're not supposed to say, "What would you like to speak to next?" No, this is not this kind of podcast. This is a very intelligent podcast. Tim just was working on a new riff. Apologize. So anyways, what you got planned for this week, Tim? That's how you do it. You don't say, what is the next subject? What is the next one thing you would like to speak of? No, transition, Tim, transition. Segue.
Well, okay, not this week, but last week, I had a marvelous recording session at Sony Studios in Nashville. Am I segueing up to your standards now?
Except you're not supposed to ask the question, am I segueing appropriately? That's something you ask after the podcast.
I'll edit that part out.
I'm scared to ask about Thursday.
Thursday?
I feel like you're distracting me with all this goofiness right now, Tim, because you've been on Reddit again.
No, I have not. No.
I'm really proud of you, Tim.
No. I do not know who won Mr. Beast. This is the final episode, right? I think. Or one more. This is the final one.
I think episode 8, right? Yeah.
This is the final one. They're going to give away that
Tim,
$5 million.
Tim, look me in the eyes.
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
I'm talking to you.
Yes.
I'm really proud of you.
Thank you.
You turned over a new leaf. Yeah. Let it out, Tim. You turned over a new leaf. You really had a problem. Yeah, I was about to pay for your I had a couple fish standby to pay for your first counseling session. My Chippy, the counselor, was going to, not a professional counselor. We pay him with fish. If you're here last week, you met Chippy. If you didn't, you go back and watch it. You lazy jerk. No, I'm just kidding. Really proud of you, Tim. Really proud of you. But anyways.
So, yeah, last Friday, I had a recording session at Sony Studios here in Nashville with 4 extremely...
Sony?
Yes.
Sony.
We don't mess around.
Sony's new slogan. We don't mess around.
Very, very talented musicians here in Nashville. And 4 guys. And then Taylor's the engineer, set it all up. We did 14 songs. That's a lot of songs to do in one day. And I was exhausted, of course, but went fantastic. These guys are so skilled. These are like aliens on their instruments. They're so good. They're like alien level musicians. They're not human. They're just so phenomenal.
Well, you hear it here first. Tim had first contact.
So I'm on a high on that, and then we're going to be, finishing them up, and adding some parts, redoing probably. We're mainly focusing.
Buffering them,
redoing some of my vocals. We're really focused on their parts, and then I did sing and I did play guitar, but I didn't do any of my
You do it all. Ladies and
gentlemen, depending.
Tim Wolf.
Yeah, we may, see, might redo it or not redo it, but all their parts are done,
Son of a gun. Just one little session?
Yeah.
Knock her out.
Absolutely amazing. And then we'll be releasing those songs this year. So.
Wow.
Yeah, one by one as we get them finished. Yeah, 14 songs. That's a whole album. That's a lot of songs for one album. That's perfect. And my album Born in South Dakota is on pre-sale right now. And
really?
I just ordered today. I ordered vinyl. So I got vinyls on pre-sale. You can order the vinyl at dirt cheap price.
You didn't have to say segue. You just went right into it.
I did.
Was smooth.
So Born in South Dakota vinyl, you can get the pre-sale for only $17.
How do you get that exactly?
I will put a link in the comments.
Linky in the commentsies.
And it's not going to come out till June 27th, but get them while before they sell out. I only ordered a certain amount, so
get them out of the hot. Get them hot.
Born in South Dakota.
What's your last song that came? Did you skip
the
a
last
week?
Song that came out? I've slowed down. Last year I put a song out every 2 weeks.
You were out of control last year.
I was every 2 weeks.
You were pumping them out like you were a factory.
26 songs. 26 songs. That's an intense.
That's
schedule.
insane.
Every 2 weeks. This year,
Holy crap! You did it every 2 weeks.
I did,
I'm about
I
to
did,
say
I did.
because I know
26 songs.
that there's 52 in a weeks, and you said
You know math.
half of that
You know
would be
math.
26.
Yes,
you
sir.
did 26. Therefore, the entire year, every 2 weeks, you came out with a new song.
I did.
I need oxygen.
That's about how I felt.
lightheaded.
And I said, I can't keep that pace up.
Yeah.
So I got one
that
song
was-
that's out, came out in early January, and so I'm doing it at the pace of about one a month, and then I got one coming out the week after Valentine's Day. It's called 10 Virgins. It's a scriptural one. It's about the in Matthew the parable about the 10 virgins, and but it's a very bluesy version, and it's and that'll be coming out the week after Valentine's Day, 21st.
Our favorite holiday.
Yeah, so When a Woman Wants a Man is out now, and you can stream that. And then 10 Virgins will be out in February. And then I'll probably pick up the pace again because I got 14 songs, and I'm going to try to get them all out as we finish them. Probably releasing. There'll only be 10 months left. And so 14 songs, that's more than one a month.
2025 is just flying by.
Flying by. Yeah.
We already knocked out Jenner. Now we're into February. Then March is right around the corner.
February 4th.
Super Bowl Sunday.
Super Bowl Sunday's coming up.
Chiefs
And
are going to
you're going to stick
sweep
with
it.
They are. They're going to do it.
I'd say they are. Yeah.
What are the odds? What are the odds you give them?
I don't know
what is a Seth odds?
I'd say
odds?
70. I'm pretty sure 75% chance that they win. I bet. It's just like they're just
too good.
You can be close all day. Come at the end of the fourth quarter, they're gonna score the last points. They're gonna put it away.
Yeah, I mean, and their management their coaching is amazing, of course.
Oh my gosh, Reed has the next to I think the Patriots old coach, who he just came out with a book. I was like, I've never been a big fan of his, but man, I bet he has some insightful things to say though. Tom Brady's old coach, Bill
Belichick.
Yeah, he just came out with a book about his life.
I want to talk about Bill
Which-
Belichick, or a
I bet
comparison.
he left out the cheating.
Deflategate anyone? Spygate anyone?
Did
they call it Spygate?
Spygate was they caught the guys with the cameras. I mean,
Did they call it Spygate?
The whole deflate thing. I can't remember. The whole deflate ball thing was weird.
Really
I don't know exactly how that went down or whatever, but
certainly Tom had to know. I mean, when he's got the ball in his hand, he's got to know.
I guess there's kind of right, of course. I mean, that's why supposedly he did it to help throw the ball better or whatever. But whatever.
Well, when I think of Bill Belichick, and I'm a businessman, and we have 4 businesses in Indiana, and always thinking about leadership. When you run a business, you want to be a good leader, and also church activities. If you're in a leadership role, so leadership is an important thing. Being a good leader, and Bill Belichick and I think it's Jim Harbaugh. There's 2 brothers Harbaugh. They have radically different leadership methods. Harbaugh, I think it's Jim, because is that right? The one who's with the LA team,
Chargers,
the
LA Chargers, yeah.
Is it Jim Harbaugh?
I believe so.
He took that team and just changed them from not very good to being really good. I mean, they're not in the Super Bowl, but they were in the playoffs and did quite well. And he also has had success at the college level, so he can succeed at whatever level. He's amazing success. And they say that, I've been doing a little reading on him. I want to read more about him, but they say that when you play for Jim Harbaugh, there's nobody who believes in you more than Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about this. Yeah,
he will.
He is
you screw
very
up,
positive.
Very positive. All about positivity. And he gets the best out of his people by believing in them. Say, I believe in you. You can do better. Now, that doesn't mean you can't choose somebody's butt.
Could you imagine, not growing up with that at all and then getting that for the first time? You could literally mold somebody and change somebody's out. I mean, a lot of, there's plenty of broken homes nowadays. I mean, it's very common for you to look up to your coach as a father figure. And if you can have that, and then there's the exact opposite. You're going to say
Bill Belichick. By all accounts, or accounts that I've heard, people that played for him. Now he looks like a grouchy guy. He never smiles. You know, he looks like a mean old man.
I know. Well, you were annoyed enough when I put on which is usually very funny with the Manning brothers.
The Manning brothers.
He's on there and he completely changed the show upside down.
They weren't joking.
They're
They're
on the
all
edge of their
serious.
seat, like,
Yeah, because he's just a sourpuss, you know, just not happy.
And any jokes they crack while he's on there just don't land. Do not land.
Well, I mean, you can't deny his success, but people said they got tired. That played for him said they get tired of being told and that they're the worst piece of crap there is. I mean, he's all about denigrating you, putting you down. So in my mind, when it comes to leadership, both have had successes, but Jim Harbaugh, you can't argue with Bill Belichick's success, but my word, at what expense, you know?
Yeah, and then what kind of character are you creating by that? Yeah, it can probably work, but for one thing, it's only going to affect certain people that can handle that in a way or respond to it. But yet, at what cost are you? Is that you putting them down? How are you affecting them in the future and stuff? Because literally, that negativity can make me a negative person, and I'm going to do that same way. I think negativity, like, I mean, you can, that's completely different than like, you know, hyping somebody up or like, just like trying to encourage somebody. I mean, you can do that without being in such a negative, almost hateful way. I mean, some coaches, I remember, you know, a coach that I had no idea, like, he's from a basketball coach that I didn't know anything. I knew him, but as far as the coaching, I didn't know what he was like when it came down to coaching styles. And he said he would just yell and cuss at you like crazy. And they had a really good team, but they said all the players are miserable. Like, they played really well, so they did what they were told, but literally just was. I mean, after playing for a year, yeah, we won the championship, but you're not the same person. You're literally a scarred human being. Like, and no, you want that person that encourages you and pushes you to be the best person that you can be.
And you can still, you know, rip somebody a new one and do it in a Harbaugh method.
Way.
You can say, yeah. I believe in you. You're better than this. You're better than this. Yeah, you're better than this. I know you can do better. I know. I believe in you. You're not
that you suck. You're
right.
Horrible.
Exactly. You're a great person, and you're not living up to your potential. I believe in you, which is completely different than apparently based on the art.
Then you get traded to the Lakers. The worst trade ever.
Yeah, imagine that. I knew we had to talk about that as NBA fans.
We'll wrap it up on that.
Let's wrap it up with that because those of you who've been living in a cave,
you wouldn't know.
You may not know that Luka Doncic. I'm probably not pronouncing his name. He's from Slovenia.
I'm pretty sure they were talking about it on the Weather Channel.
I bet. I mean, probably the biggest, most shocking trade in the history of the NBA and maybe the history of any of the major sports. Has there ever been a trade that shocking in baseball or NFL football? I mean, it's just so shocking. Luka Doncic, forgive me if I'm really
the majority of people would say that it was a horrible trade.
Yeah.
Horrible
great
trade.
For the LA. Great for LA. Luka is from Slovenia. And he's
amazing player.
He was third in the NBA. So he's like the
I didn't
top
realize how young
player.
he is. So
he's only 25 years
25?
old. He's 25 years old. He's
gosh.
played in the NBA for 5 years, and every year he's been all NBA. Not just all-star, but all NBA. That's rare. He's only 25. Last year he was third in the MVP voting. So the third best player in the NBA. He's only 25. You know, he's got 10 more years. And Dallas traded him for a cheeseburger, basically. No, I mean, okay, AD is not a cheeseburger, but
and it wasn't just that too. It was also the first round.
Yeah,
but yeah, I didn't realize how much older he's. Like 31 or 32.
I think AD. I
didn't realize
Anthony Davis. Unibrow
he'd been around that long.
32. Yeah, and now he's a phenomenal player, but he's oft injured. Now I mean, he was a major contributor to us winning the Olympics. He was a beast on defense. He played for the U.S. team, of course. He's American. So he is a defense. Luka is known for taking defense off.
Right,
So,
that's one of the big, huge issues. And then I guess he's majorly. I guess they say he's at 270 right now.
He's heavy, and they
he's
say
really
he
big right
doesn't
now, but-
stay conditioning. He's a little for an NBA player. He's a little chubby. But I mean, for the average person, he looks great. But for an NBA player who's playing at that level, he's just a hair chubby. They say.
You know, and probably in a certain situation, I mean, it looks like they've been trying to get him to change these ways, and it seems like. It maybe I watched a really good video on it. Somebody breaking down why exactly he was traded, and it almost seems like if it plays out the way it is, you know, if you want to give the manager some props for or like. For the filling out the columns of like plus and minus if this is a good idea, if you want to say it, you know, did Mavericks make the good decision? Well, yeah, if he's literally giving up more points than he's making, that's something right there. But then not willing to change his diet or be healthy. I mean, and there, I mean, his defense is dreadful, and he's not wanting to get out of shape. Him moving to some of the LA, I mean, you're going to say, oh, look how well he's playing the next year. Now, the only reason he get in good shape because of his change of scenery.
He might, and he's playing with his idol. He's playing with his team,
who is all about being in shape,
who is
and could be
LeBron
the person
James
to push him. In the
LeBron
right
James is 40
direction.
years old and playing at an all-star level. He was first team all NBA. LeBron James. I mean,
yeah, I'm excited to see him.
He's 40 years old and he's playing better. He's still a top 10 player in the NBA at 40 years old. Mm-hmm. And so you know that guy takes incredible care of his body.
He dunks like he's 18. Yeah, oh my gosh.
If Luka can respect him and listen to, I mean, he could turn him into a beast.
And he does respect him, so I feel like he really could.
You know,
and I don't think he was going to change it the way it sounded, unless, I mean, he was in such a rut. And I mean, he had been injured he hasn't played in a bunch of games. And
no, he hasn't.
So it doesn't seem like he was really making the right steps to be in better shape. And they're saying the reason he even gets injured, a big part of the reason that he gets more injuries is because he's
bad
out
conditioning.
of bad conditioning.
Yeah, it goes hand in
and then
hand.
horrible defense.
Yeah.
And then
he argues with the refs.
Constantly
argues with the refs. In the middle of it's a live game, live ball, and he's back. So basically, he doesn't play great defense anyway, and it's a 4-on-5.
And then it's always not his fault. So it was like it never does any good.
He's not perfect, but nobody's perfect, of course, except Jesus Christ. You know, so but he has some major flaws, I guess you could say. Some major flaws, but they can all be corrected. He's only 25. 25. That is so young. You know, he's got 10. If he takes, I mean, if he could do the LeBron thing, he's got 15 more years. So LeBron's 40. You know, so
I know. I didn't realize how young he was. Yeah,
25
he's played.
Years old, you know, and he's from Slovenia. I was in Slovenia was it the year before last? I went to all the Balkan countries, and I went to Slovenia. I love Slovenia. It was a phenomenal country. That's where First Lady Trump is from, Melania. She's from Slovenia.
Is he celebrated over there? Did you see any?
Oh, yes. They revere him. Small country. It's a small country.
Yeah.
Slovenia is small. I'd be surprised if they even have 10 million population. I think they have less than 10 million population.
I mean, he's one of the top 5 players in the NBA right now, right?
100%. Top 3. Top third of the MVP voting last year. So there's a metric that says he's in the top 3 in the NBA. And
it is interesting that people said, like, why did you trade? I mean, you could have gotten practically anyone you wanted for him. Like, why did you trade who you did trade? So who knows? Only time will
time will tell. That's what everybody's saying. Only time will tell.
What if Davis is just that perfect piece? Because it is like, so much of it is that skill that player plays, but man,
it's still a team sport.
It's a team sport. And you get that right piece.
Yes.
And you get that right person that has the right personality that just doesn't make me a better player, but makes everybody else a better player.
Well, they did say that they wanted defense. That's what the GM said. Nico said he wants defense, and he's got it. AD is defense in spades, and Anthony Davis has been asked, the one that they traded to Dallas for Luka. They said he's been playing center, but he doesn't want to play center. He wants to play power forward, and he kept complaining to the Lakers, get a real center, so I don't have to play center, and they didn't. But there's two big men in Dallas, two, not one, two. Lively and I forgot the other one. Gafford, is it? Two big centers, great defensive beasts. So he doesn't have to play center in Dallas. He's going to be happy. And those guys are defensive
that could
beasts.
completely
So Dallas
change his dynamic.
completely could. He's got guys he doesn't have to be the center. And they got Klay Thompson.
Oh no! I was
And
looking.
they got Kyrie.
I didn't realize how many
Irving.
amazing players they
They've
had.
got great
down
players.
there. Yeah, I forgot that's where what's his name went.
It could for Dallas.
from,
it could make
Warriors.
them. It could make them. Now I don't think the Lakers. I mean, it's going to take a while for them to figure out how to. I don't know. I honestly don't think the Lakers can compete for a championship this year. It takes a while for a team to gel, but the Dallas actually may be near the top. Okay.
I'm excited to watch some Laker games and some Mavericks after this went down. You know.
Well, when they first meet, Luka's going to go off. Luka's going to go
there
off.
is what there's a Mavericks game tonight. So what? What's his name could already be playing.
Yeah, I don't know how fast they make that changeover. They got to do it.
I think just right away. I mean, I guess it's probably up to the player.
Well, they got to do a physical
and
in board them with a physical. I'm not sure, but I mean, I've seen videos and photos of him at press conference in L.A. Luka, and he's got his jersey already. 77
you know
jersey.
what? You know what sucks for him? Somebody was saying that he just bought like $14 million house like in Dallas or something like last week. He had just closed on it. That sucks.
Yeah.
Hopefully Davis wants it.
Nobody saw that coming. It's just the shock of
crazy.
the shock of the shock.
I don't get. Why do you not tell your coach?
Well, they didn't want it to be leaked. Nobody knew it. They kept it so tight because Dallas knew that if
you know what, who knows, he might even know, but be like, hey, I'll take this for the team. Like everybody's going to think this is a horrible deal, and basically it all comes back on one person, and he's taking it like. Are they just making him the fall guy? Like
I don't think so. Honestly, I don't think so. I saw an interview today.
How does the owner not even know? Like, what? He's not even he's not the minority. No,
Cuban.
but
You're talking about Cuban. Cuban's a minority. He's not in the. Mark Cuban is not in the. He's not involved in the day-to-day anymore. He's a minority owner, but he's not involved in the management.
Yeah, I guess he set himself up for the future though, because they're going to do a whole resort and a casino thing. If they're trying to make it happen in Texas, and if it can't, it looks like they might end up going to Vegas because they're wanting to do. That's why he gave up his.
The Mavericks? What? The Mavericks moved to Vegas?
I guess I was watching a video. They were talking about that.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I don't know how what the percentage chance of that is, but if they can't make the, I mean, and that's why he Cuban gave up his he sold part of his stake,
yeah.
But then he's part of the bigger deal. He gave up that, but then he's part of the bigger deal though with the casino and resort. So he owns part of that though. So that he set himself up bigger, and then he was thinking about his kids too, where like, okay, they're not going to want to manage this or whatever. So, you know, he's not a minority, so he doesn't have to worry about like being part of decisions, which I guess you have a manager now and he does everything anyways. He just does whatever he wants. So I guess he's not held accountable. I mean, they could fire him if they want. But
who? Mark Cuban?
No. The manager that made the decision. He has 100% control. He didn't even have to really run it by the management, it sounded like. You would think he would at least run it by the minority. But
I don't know. It's just everyone's
it's crazy.
About it.
You're saying it was just him, but guys, hope you enjoyed this No Sugar, No Cream
Can
NBA.
I talk about one more thing?
No, we're out of time. Sorry. No, go ahead.
All right. So, can you see this here? This brand here.
Yeah.
Does that show up?
Marshall.
It says Marshall. So Marshall is a amp brand from the UK, British amp brand, and they were iconic. I mean, they are. Jimi Hendrix played Marshalls. Jimmy Page played Marshalls. Marshalls are iconic as an amp brand, and they were one of the last brands that were still privately owned by the family. Well, not anymore. They did do a deal. Now, Jim Marshall, who's founded the company, died.
This is something that just happened?
Well, what I'm going to announce happened today. This is brand new stuff.
Oh, okay.
This is brand new stuff. And Jim Marshall died some year within the last 5 years. I'm not sure exactly how long ago it was. I remember seeing the news.
Is it a $1 billion company?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
You're not letting me build it up. TLDR. You want me to get to the TLDR, huh? Anyway,
Spit it out. No, I'm just kidding.
But it's just an amp, just to make amps. And that keychain thing you got for me, which I got to put up, that's got Marshall on it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It's an amp company, and we got a key thing where you can put all your keys in there. And I haven't put got to put it up by the door. He bought it from me for Christmas. I haven't put it up yet. My apologies, nephew. Anyway,
it's okay.
They were still family owned, even though they did a deal with a Swedish equity firm. And but the family, the descendants of Jim Marshall, still owned it. Not anymore. They came to terms and they sold the entire company, lock, stock, and barrel, and other ownings to a Chinese.
Oh my gosh! I was going to joke and say Chinese.
Chinese conglomerate, the same conglomerate that owns ByteDance,
which is TikTok. Hey, TikTok.
And Lemonade, all that. It's a huge conglomerate. They don't have any other music equipment stocks. So the word is, if you're a guitar player and you have a Marshall, don't sell it. And if you want a Marshall, get it now, because what's going to happen, it's happened in so many other instrument manufacturing. They're all about profit. They're all about profits, and they're not about making great equipment, and the quality goes down drastically. So for anyone who's a guitar player,
which is so crazy, because I feel like so many Chinese people have pride, but I guess their pride is more in the profits.
Well, it's not just Chinese. I mean, there are so many examples. Gibson guitars, Fender guitars. They had a corporate. There were a period where they were taken over by the corporate. That's why a '65 Fender in 1965, Fender was sold, and they from '65 until 85 or 87, somewhere in there, 85, I think, they were owned by a corporate. And the quality, most guitar players will say the quality greatly sucked. So a 65, well, I mean, it didn't change immediately. So if you get a 65, it takes a while before they start implementing the new procedures. So 65 is still pretty valuable. CBS, the company that got it was CBS. So pre-CBS. But after CBS, the CBS era, those are very much lower in value. And Gibson had the same thing, Gibson guitars. And so it's very common in musical instruments that corporations, these are American companies that bought them. And so it's common, if you're owned by a conglomerate, that the quality of what's being manufactured. So the word is, for if you're a guitar player and you like Marshall amps, and
so it's going to go up.
They're going to go up in value.
Did you have an older amp that was already worth quite a bit, too?
Oh yeah, I do. I got this one over here. Maybe
that's a
another day
good-looking
we'll go
amp
through
right
it.
there. Yeah.
This is just a small little 5 amp one. My real.
Was that the other one? The big one? Is that a Marshall? The one that's the really big that I remember you looked up and it was
no, that was
crazy.
a Fender.
That was a Fender.
Which one?
Okay.
The one that you hauled up the stairs for me?
I don't remember. I remember there's one that you had.
The one that's worth
a good chunk of change.
Probably 15,000. That's this one right here.
I was thinking the same. Now we're gonna get robbed.
Now we're gonna get robbed. Yeah.
We're not in Nashville anymore, guys. We're in Philadelphia.
This one right here. I don't know if you can see it. This one here is a '59 Fender Bassman, and it's probably worth $15,000 to $20,000.
That's gonna pay for my next car right there. I'm just you said trade, sir. Here, this is $15,000.
I didn't pay that for it. I paid much less than that.
No.
Much less than that. But that's what they're worth now. So. Before you think that I'm just, got all the money to burn, I didn't pay that. I would not pay that for an amp.
Tim has some good investments. You got some good artwork too.
Thank you.
Well, you have one artist that ended up getting famous, right?
I bought 2 artwork from him on the streets of New York, And I think I paid like $50 or $60, about two of them. And they're Haitian, and they're Haitian women hauling an avocado that's like 10 feet long. I mean, it's surrealistic.
The natural
surrealistic
size
art.
of an avocado.
And I had them in a box when I was living in an apartment, and I had all my artwork put away in a box. And when I moved to Nashville, I dug it out, hung it on the wall. It's in the kitchen, and I just paid for both of them around $100, maybe $120 combined. And I looked him up because you can read the name of the artist, and I said, I just wonder, I met the guy. He was there selling them. And I just wonder if, this is worth anything. And I Googled his name, and he passed away. He passed away, and his paintings are worth like $20,000 a piece, according to the article I read.
That's amazing.
So, man, lucky me. So I bought some other artwork from a street artist on Central Park, and I thought maybe the same thing happened to him. No. His aren't worth anything.
Well, I mean, yeah, you hit the jackpot there, which I usually, but you have some other pieces are too. There's some value in there, right? I mean, those are the two main, the big ones, right?
Two main ones, yeah.
That's pretty neat. That's pretty
all right.
Those who stay in the family for many years to come. Tim doesn't.
I hope
Tim
so.
doesn't
So.
For sure.
All right,
guys. Hope you enjoyed this podcast. We talked a little bit about everything. Definitely, if you're not an NBA fan, thanks for sticking around. We are big fans of the NBA here. Tim has turned me on to it pretty good. But yeah, that trade is a big deal. But guys, thanks for watching. Facebook, if you're on Facebook, please share, and follow us. And for Spotify, Apple. Love if you give us a rating on there. That'd help us out. And we will see you guys next time. Love ya. Bye. Okay. See you later.
Hold on a second while you get it.
Hasta luego.